It was difficult for the years of oppression and intense humility to pass easily. He had made them accustomed to humbling themselves and submitting to someone other than Allah. He had so suppressed their souls and spoiled their nature that they began to torture Moses out of ignorance and obstinacy. The miracle of the parting of the sea was still fresh in their minds. Damp sea sands were still stuck on their souls. When they passed by a people worshipping idols, instead of manifesting their indignation at the idolaters' oppression of the intellect by celebrating the praises of Allah for his guidance, they looked to Moses for him to specify a God for them, to worship as those other people did. They were jealous of the other people and their idols, and they desired the same. They missed the ancient idolatry which they had lived with during the reign of Pharaoh. Moses' people desire an idol. Allah the Exalted revealed, "And we brought the children of Israel with safety across the sea, and they came upon a people devoted to some of their idols in worship. They said, 'O Moses, make for us an ilahan, a god, as they have alihah, gods.' He said, 'Verily, you are a people who know not the majesty and greatness of Allah, and what is obligatory upon you, to worship none but Allah alone, the one and the only God of all that exists.' Moses added, 'Verily, these people will be destroyed, for that which they are engaged in idols worship, and all that they are doing is in vain. He said, 'Shall I seek for you an ilahan, a god other than Allah, while he has given you superiority over the alamin, mankind and jinns mankind and jinns of your time? And remember when we rescued you from Pharaoh people, who were afflicting you with the worst torment, killing your sons and letting your women live, and in that was a great trial from your Lord. The favors of Allah on Moses' people, the children of Israel, were favored with Allah's grace and bounty. They were saved from oppression and had witnessed the drowning of their cruel ruler Pharaoh. When they needed water in the dry land, Allah commanded Moses to strike a rock, which parted and set forth 12 springs of water for the 12 different tribes, so that they need not dispute over a shortage of water. Allah also kept the skies cloudy to protect them from the scorching sun, to relieve their hunger. Manna, the dried exudate of certain plants, and quail were provided for them. In spite of Allah's generosity, the mean-spirited ones began to stir Moses' people to object that they were disgusted with this food. They desire onion, garlic, beans, and lentils, which were traditional Egyptian foods. That is why the children of Israel asked Prophet Moses to pray to Allah to make the earth produce these foods. Moses again admonished them for oppressing themselves and for their desire to return to a life of humiliation in Egypt. He also pointed out that they were ungrateful for the best and most abundant food. They wanted the worst instead of the best. Allah's favor on Moses' people. Allah the Exalted said, "Remember when Moses asked for water for his people. We said, 'Strike the stone with your stick,' and then gushed forth therefrom 12 springs. Each group of people knew its own place for water. Eat and drink of which Allah has provided, and do not act corruptly, making mischief on the earth. And remember when you said, 'O Moses, we cannot endure one kind of food, so invoke your Lord for us to bring forth for us of what the earth grows, its herbs, its cucumbers, its wheat or garlic, its lentils and its onions. He said, would you exchange that which is better for that which is lower? Go you down to any town, and you shall find what you want. The cowardice of Moses' people. Allah had also directed Moses to lead them to the promised land, Palestine, which had been promised to Abraham as a land in which the pious and Allah-fearing of his offspring would live and uphold Allah's law. The children of Israel were an ungrateful people. In spite of all of Allah's favors, they could not stay away from evil and continued to reject Allah's laws. When Moses ordered them to conquer the town of the Canaanites, the Hittites, their enemies who had hounded them, the children of Israel were cowardly and made excuses. O Moses, a great people dwell therein. We will not go in unless they leave. Ancient books tell that they were 600,000 men. Moses did not find among them but 2 men who were ready to fight. These two said to the people, once we enter through the door, Allah will make us victorious. However, all the children of Israel were an incarnation of cowardice and quivered from within. Allah keeps Moses' people wandering. Moses knew that his people were fit for nothing. Pharaoh was dead, but his effect on their souls still remained. Their recovery needed a long period of time. Moses returned to his Lord, telling him that he was responsible only for the actions of himself and his brother. He prayed to his Lord to judge between his people and himself. Allah the Exalted issued his judgment against this generation, whose nature was corrupted by the Egyptians. They must wander restlessly in the wilderness until this generation had died or become senile and had created another generation. A generation which had not been defeated from within and which could fight and score victory. The cowardice of Moses' people. Almighty Allah revealed, and remember when Moses said to his people, O my people, remember the favor of Allah to you, and he made prophets among you, made you kings, and gave you what he had not given to any other among the Alamin, mankind and jinn. In the past, O my people, enter the holy land.